Chase me around the apple tree. Welcome back to Grab Your Brew.
If you're new, welcome. Please like and subscribe.
Today's episode is going to be a family affair brought to you by me, Leigh.
Myself, Jodie, and our dad, Mark,
Go ahead and grab your brew.
as we talk about Molly Leigh, the Witch of Burslem.
Legends claim that Margaret, aka Molly Leigh, was born around 1685 in a forest cottage on the outskirts of Burslem, Staffordshire, England, the mother town of the six pottery towns. Research has two different stories, but both of them do describe her in a terrible light, that she has been described as an ugly woman to look at. They do say that she was either possibly disfigured through smallpox or she was actually born with a deformity, making her very unattractive.
Due to the deformity, she received a lot of ridicule, so it's not surprising that she was described as having a quick temper and also being incredibly eccentric. She kept either it's a blackbird or a jackdaw.
It was said that Malali used black magic to cause illnesses, misfortune, sour milk. She was also said to have made it appear as if the vicar was drunk. Appear as, or was he actually drunk?
It was believed that the local children would reach out with empathy and friendship. Children are more innocent after all, rather than continuing to taunt Molly Leigh 3 centuries after her death.
Like most childhood tales, there's always a nursery rhyme to go along. And Malali's legendary song was Malali, Malali, chase me round the apple tree. Malali, Malali, you can't catch me. Now, as children, me and my sister happened to do this rhyme because it is almost like a, what's the best way I can describe it? Kind of like the Candyman at a sleepover. It's a childhood pastime, but it did not work out too well for us.
This old rhyme is well known in Stoke-on-Trent. The verse is supposed to be recited on Halloween while skipping around the grave 3 times and knocking on it. The ritual is performed as a kind of dare, we've all done it, a rite of passage for brave kids who are ready to prove that they no longer believe in childish things such as magic, ghosts, or witches.
I did think that Marley's, well, I shouldn't say Marley's grave, I should say the Burslem Cemetery. I thought it was a lot bigger than I remembered as a child.
Smaller.
I thought it was bigger when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got that mixed up. It's smaller than I remembered as a child.
yeah, definitely. It felt massive when we were younger.
And for some reason in my head, I imagined that there was some kind of fence there, but there was no fence there.
No, there was no fence, but I'm pretty sure there was more trees because we thought we were having adventures, but it was very open now.
Yeah. Yeah, but we had to add this picture for you for comical effect because it was a random clean cup at the end of a grave. And as we were going through the edits, Jodie put this lovely comment in there. For some reason, I was laughing hysterically, so I had to go ahead and share with you. But what if the truth about Molly Leigh and what happened to her was far more sinister than Molly Leigh being a witch? Let's go ahead and dig into that because we did an investigation and some research, so you don't have to.
Molly Leigh was a wealthy woman in her own right. She was a very independent, business savvy woman, born in the wrong decade. Came out many years later that her own stepfather and the vicar were in on a scheme together to obtain the inheritance that she had set to leave her own mother in a will.
Molly Leigh also mentions other relatives such as her aunt Margaret Booker, her cousin Anne, Don Bavin, you all know that I butcher names, and Luke Bennett, who benefited from her will. After the death of Mallory's aunt, mother, and cousin, a sum of £400 was to be shared equally among Anne's children. In today's money, that value would be 68,813 and 17 pence.
Molly's friend Alice Beach, who lived on land at Wallflat, owned by Molly Leigh, witnessed the will, dated 21st of March 1748. She was given Wallflat after Leigh died. Her will also included land at Newbold Asbury near Congleton and gold mourning rings for all of her surviving relatives.
Mallory's will provided for 20 shillings to be paid to Alice Beach every year, and then on for her descendants after her death. This cash would be used to buy bread to feed the poor inhabitants and widows of Sneyd and Burslem. After her mother, aunt, and cousin died, Leigh instructed her executors, including Joseph Lovett of Penkhull, that her land
Tenements.
and tenements, that's all her land and tenements,
Apart from Wallflat, should be sold and the profits used to build a hospital in Burslem for the reception and habitation of poor women, to provide food and clothing for these poor women of the parish. There is, however, no evidence that such a hospital was built, because she was, oh, such a terrible person.
because Mallory didn't want her stepfather having any control over her money. So she cut her mother off, and rightfully so. It's not that she didn't want her mother to have money, it was that she knew that the stepfather was a very crooked man. And clearly, evidently, he showed that because not only him, but the local vicar were in on a scheme to make it look like poor Mallory had soured the beer, made the vicar drunk, a list of things that was all a lying concoction between the vicar of all people and Mallory's stepfather to basically have her framed as being a witch so he could claim the inheritance. So I'm sure the vicar was going to earn some from this. But don't worry, guys, the tale does not clearly end here because when Mallory died, she shook everybody to the core. Because even if she was not a witch, she was now a woman scorned.
The vicar, by the name of Thomas Spencer, was known for his disdain of Molly Leigh and the fact that she did not attend church. Even more important to him was that a wealthy woman in her own right could refuse to donate to the church.
And then, of course, there's Joseph Booth, which was the name of Mallory's stepfather, her mother's second husband after Mallory's father, Richard Leigh, passed away. It was known that around the time of Mallory's death, that her mother, Sarah Leigh, was alive and, of course, one of the main executives of Mallory's will.
After they buried her, they went to her home, and when they opened the door, it was reported that they saw Molly Leigh and her blackbird rocking on the chair in front of the fire. Out of fear, they opened her grave, laid her to rest in a different grave facing in the opposite direction to how most are. Out of fear, but what's worse is, it was reported that the bird was terrorising the local villagers, so they captured the bird and sealed it alive in the tomb with her.
Clearly disgusting, inhumane people, that poor bird. So, like I said before, even if she was not a witch, whether she was or not, she was way beyond her time for an independent businesswoman, and she had to unfortunately pay the price of egotistic men who felt entitled to her money. And I hope that she haunted them way beyond the grave, and that karma got to them. I would, however, like to know if the people that live in the home where Mallory's home used to be actually know that this was a residence. Well-known Burslem witch that's left tales, but it's definitely a myth that stood the test of time, from generations past with generations to come.
Random fun fact, the house across the street is very haunted. Used to be our dad's shop, and he has plenty of stories to share with us about that.
Thank you for grabbing a brew with us today.
Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to email us at grabyourbrew@gmail.com for anything you would like us to research.
Have an amazing week. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe.